It's Saturday, which means that it's a great day for another weekly Q&A session. If you're wondering what this is, where this is coming from, this is essentially a similar setup to the weekly live streams that we do on this channel. And instead of it being live, it's obviously pre-recorded. So we're going to be fielding questions from, of course, the YouTube community, the members community there, and then also our Discord as well. You're 100% free to join on in. In fact, I've just posted the new weekly Q&A over here on Discord. So if you want to join on in, just find the Discord link in the description below and find your way over here to the K video content section and the weekly Q&A section, and whatever the most relevant week is, that's where we start. Anyways, before we get into the actual content of this video, I do want to just do a very quick Bitcoin analysis. Nothing super, integrated right here. Obviously, yesterday, the day prior, and basically this whole past week of analysis is more or less still standing. I mean, Bitcoin's just been, grinding sideways and up, which is what we have been saying is the more likely thing to be happening. Although it does, again, feel, at least in my opinion, kind of like a guilty pleasure being bullish here, but perhaps there is still more. Of course, with Bitcoin's closure yesterday on CME Friday, we do see that the daily stochastic oscillator is going to have a chance to actually cross again to the upside, on the open of this next week on Monday. So that will be essentially confirmed, assuming that Bitcoin can remain above about $101,500 again on CME from that open, which will come, I guess, late Sunday / early Monday. And of course, that does have a premium over spot price action, and CME actually closed well above that pivot. In fact, at 102,300. Crazy numbers right there. Also, we could look at this as the daily stochastic oscillator holding within the bullish control zone. And again, just, having this within the context of very, very low volatility likely does align for a real breakout try to open up this next coming week. Maybe even it happens on Sunday as well. I guess it is possible, but, typically Saturday, very, 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 very quiet. Very rarely do we see an actual breakout on Saturday. But to be fair, we haven't seen one in a long time. So maybe this could be it, or maybe not. Anyways, first things first, let's go over here to the YouTube members community. Of course, this community gets priority for the weekly Q&A because we're only going to be doing this for about, I keep on saying 30 minutes, but it's traditionally maybe a little more close to an hour, but that's fine. But we'll start off over here. There's actually only two from our YouTube community. And if you want to join in for that, by the way, it's just this, I think it's the join button. The join is, no, subscribe. No, it's a join button below in this video. You can also subscribe as well. That's free to do. Anyways, we have Arms Private, I think that's his name. Hi, thank you for the time and opportunity. All good, man. Very kind of you. What are your statistics for January / February monthly average returns, average days for the possible high lows a month? Blast all statistics you have in my face. Well, I will blast everything that I have in your face. No problem. But actually, will disappoint you a little bit here because I don't have, I haven't done the updated version of February fully. I've done actually most of January by now, so I can definitely show you that. And January monthly is actually very interesting, and I would even say nuanced as well. For one, out of 14 Januaries in Bitcoin's history, 8 of those have closed positively. So just over a 57% strike rate to close positively from open to closure. And the average return for those positive closing months was just over 23%. The average median return, however, decently lower than that at 16.35%. On the other side, the average loss return has lost an average of about 16.5% and very close on the median loss right there as well. So, that obviously does imply some pretty, potentially some pretty big movements here for Bitcoin, especially if that happens to the upside, meaning that the rally, I guess, theoretically could continue. When we look at some of our other data, obviously this is not relevant for January on halving years because that will no longer be actually a halving year. What about January monthly after a green December? That has only happened 8 other times in Bitcoin's history. And again, that gives it about a 62.5, or sorry, no, it did not happen 8 times. Or yes, no, it did happen 8 times. Out of those 8 times, 5 of them in January did close green, so about 62.5%. So what am I trying to say? If December closes green, January slightly more likely to close green as well. And the average returns for those positive closing times in January was actually quite higher here at 34.5% compared to above here, which was, I believe, 23%. So if December closes positively, potential for, I guess, an even bigger move in January. Of course, when we go ahead and look at the lows, we do find something that's been very consistent for the past since October. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this would be month number 4. Actually, and also, no, yeah, it started in October. Before that, the lows were actually not early within the month. In September, it's actually very, very late within the month. But here for January lows, we do find that if we include all of the data, the low typically comes, still pretty early on within the month, within the first couple weeks, 12 and a half days or so. If we bifurcate that data between macro uptrends and macro downtrends, well, that number goes down significantly, about 40% to 7.5 days. 7.5 days is what I'm trying to say. So, very early, and I should actually aware you on this data as well right here. You can see that almost all of these were very early within the month. There's only 2 times where it was really even outside the first couple weeks of the month, which was over here in 2016 on the 16th. By the way, there was a low very early on within the month as well in that year, which was very close to the actual low. And then same thing over here, more recently in the past year of 2024, happening on the 23rd of January was the low. But again, Bitcoin did, was very close to the low at the beginning of January and even traded up significantly, if you remember, in mid-January, and then came down on kind of like a flash crash that was around the ETF sort of stuff. So yeah. And of course, when the macro trend is down, well, that low comes very late within the month, by the way, very, very late, typically after the third week, in fact. So, that is much more exaggerated data than what we have seen in past months. Actually, when I'm talking about the differential between when the low of the month is between macro uptrends versus macro downtrends. So yeah, as far as February goes, I can show you the unupdated ones, but I have not included 2024 data in this just yet. But February actually a little bit, actually quite nice for Bitcoin. 10 out of 13 of the prior February is closing positively. I'm pretty sure this past one did as well. Let's actually just go check really quickly here. We might as well, we can see this quite easily, can't we? And indeed, we do see that last February was pretty fucking green, actually. So that number will actually go up here. It'll be 11 out of 14, which is, I'm guessing, close to an 80% strike rate for closing positively. Not bad. So things can get pretty crazy in the first couple of months here of this coming year. But again, I want to reiterate my thoughts. And again, these are just my personal thoughts. I might be fucking super wrong on this, okay? But if Bitcoin continues here, I think it kind of is setting up in this next week or two, and then we see, the party just generally go and continue into January/February, I'm going to be very, very beholden to the views that I've been espousing on this channel, that I do think that this cycle it's like you're probably very close, if not already over, in terms of the actual price high. Maybe the timing comes a little bit later in the year, but in terms of the price high, I imagine you're probably going to see most of the gains within that time. All right, cool. So we have that. That's nice. That's nice. How was that for you? That was nice. No, that was interesting. Hopefully it was interesting. Anyways, I should let everyone know that if you do find this content valuable or, I don't know, entertaining, or if you even fucking hate it, consider subscribing. It's free to do, and well, it makes me feel better about myself, kind of, I guess, until I start reading some of the mean comments. Anyways, Cousin Burley says, "Thanks for your opportunity as always. All good, man." It's like the people in the member section are so kind. It's very nice, very polite. Where would you use the 5-day 5 exponential moving average strategy in reverse in a bear market, meaning that you'd use it to short? Well, we can actually test that out. In fact, I've already set it up over here. I do want to make sure that, of course, our members are well taken care of, although I don't prepare for the rest of it. But on the 5-day right here, just what Cousin Burley is alluding to is a strategy. It's like the most simple Bitcoin strategy. Whenever Bitcoin on the 5-day time frame closes above this red moving average, which is a 5 exponential, that opens a long. Whenever it closes below, that closes the long. If we go ahead throughout the full history of Bitcoin, these are the results for longs only. So what I've done here is I've actually done that same strategy in reverse, or just a shorting version of it. And these were the results. When I look at the results, is it overall okay. I mean, I guess it's acceptable. It's not anything amazing. The percent profitable, essentially the strike rate of the strategy is very low, 29% almost. But the profit factor is still pretty agreeable right there. And when we go into the performance summary, we can see very obviously that the average winning trade is significantly less than what we do see for the long side. So this one's closer to about 16.5%. Average losing trade is 717. Largest winning trade that we ever saw using the strategy was 66%. I mean, again, this is a short strategy, so like that is actually really crazy. So I would pay attention to this in a bear market. Would I trade it? Maybe. There are certainly better strategies, more efficient strategies, but it is kind of a painless, thoughtless sort of strategy here to be employing. But as far as the strategy goes, it does seem that in the bear market, it still operates mostly as intended, which the purpose of this strategy is just grab onto these very strong trending moves and then jump off when they show, any signs of exhaustion or potential reversal. And it works very, very well to the upside. To the downside, I mean, obviously it still works decently, but not as good. So yeah, take it as you will. Would I use it? Maybe. I'd kind of use it as like a guide. I'll probably bring it up during the videos when we do have a bear market, just kind of see, and whenever Bitcoin's below, it's like, hey, I'm not looking along here. That at minimum would be quite obvious. All right, cool. Let's get into the Discord section right here. We have, of course, wait, there we go. That's what I meant to do. And why am I, oh, I see. There we go. Okay, now we got the full view. I'm gonna take a sip of this. I've actually made a caffeine cocktail. It's really good. It's a nice espresso plus an energy drink. It's fucking amazing when you need to do cardio intensive work, but like today. Anyways, here we go. We do, again, I'm just going to do this first come, first serve, and we're 12 minutes into this video. I'll run this for about, I don't know, definitely over 30 minutes, probably less than an hour, something like that. Especially when I start to get tired. All right, Myth Reindeer, very clever as always. Good day, sir. Good day to you as well. An early one here. Nice. You mentioned that you have 2 to 3 strategies trading for you at the moment. Are any of these trading inverse perpetuals? Yeah. In fact, 2 of them are. Do you switch back and forth with inverse ones? I prefer to trade the inverse perpetuals when I have the option to, especially in a bull market, which obviously Bitcoin has been in since the beginning of 2023. The reason why I like to use inverse perpetuals is because it allows you to hold Bitcoin as the equity in order to put on margin trades. So it's like you get the benefit of holding and you get the benefit of trading, because a lot of people, like a very common retort, although in my opinion misguided, is you can't beat buy and hold. Okay, over a very long period of time, yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult. But this way of trading will allow you to do that. It allows you to hold while also trading. So yeah. Anyways, Unknown 33 says, Doggy coin analysis 4-hour and 12-hour, please. Also, I've subscribed to your priority YouTube chat. Can't find where to message you from. Yeah, it's just right here. Actually, I made a post to you, but all you need to do is go over here onto the YouTube channel main page, and then go to this section right here that says posts, and that will bring up these posts here. Again, is for members only. So if you have to actually be a member in order to see it. But then you're more than welcome to comment there. And I mean, you're obviously pretty early in this one as well. So all good. Anyways, Doggy coin 4-hour and 12-hour. Let's check it out. Oops. Let's see. The monthly I like. Long term, daily. I know you didn't ask about a daily, but overall a range. Range is between 33 cent low, or about 33 cent low versus, let's actually do this for daily, about 48 cent high. Let's go over here to what he exactly was asking for, the 4-hour and 12-hour. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Not seeing anything like super obvious right here. It does look to me like it is trying to put in a higher low as of the current moment. Obviously that higher low will be confirmed if you see this thing trade and especially close a 4-hour dildo above 42.3. If you see that, then yeah, this thing very likely does mount another rally towards 45 cents or so. 12-hour time frame. same shit here. You can see that same potential for a higher low being put in, but obviously, again, that is contingent upon its ability to close above a little over 42 cents. If that happens, yeah, in the clear. Until then, still corrective in a range. I mean, and even if it reclaims that, it still is overall in a range, but very likely a nice move to the upside in the short term. So yeah. All right, Tristram. Hello, sir. Thank you for answering my questions. I'll do my best, man, but I can't promise I've the most beautiful answers of all time. Appreciate this form of content. Yeah, man, I've been really enjoying these as well. Today, the question is, how would you DCA Bitcoin in a bear market? What are the levels you would watch for? Maybe you have some strategy that you're willing to share. Well, the main thing in a bear market is not buying too early. So first it's understanding what really are your preferences. So when I'm in a bear market, I'm thinking, okay, if I want to invest for the long term, this is kind of the time that I actually want to do it. What sort of time horizon will I be having? Well, we're probably not going to see close to the low until we're at least about a year into the bear market from the high. And then two, from there, I want to see some sort of, preferably a reversal, actually, at least on a daily time frame. Some signs of life in order to really start DCAing. Before that, I do think that you are just kind of wasting your money, or at least the way that I think is that I'd be wasting my money. Again, I have the perspective of a long-term investor in a bear market. And I'm really looking I'm looking to hold these positions for 4, 5, 6 years, something like that. In these cases, my nose is super itchy today. It's cold as fuck outside, by the way. It's actually snowing now. It really does look like Christmas, and the whole sea outside of my house is frozen over. It's fucking crazy, man. Anyways, yeah. So one, I'd speak about the timing, and then two, the preferences, and then three, from there, I don't know, if you want to do every week, that's fine. If you want to do, if you want to wait for an actual reversal on a daily, and then perhaps, a weekly to really go in, then, that's also fine as well. But my main point would be, don't be too early, and just realize that in all bear markets, I mean, when it's really not until you're about a year in where, the lows are even close in terms of both time and price. So yeah, there is no rush is my main point. There's no point in DCAing, during the very beginning, of a bear market, like we saw back on over here, for example. It's like you have all the way from November of 2021 until November of 2022. Especially that first 6 months, that's not the time. After the first 6 months, okay, around here, completely fine. These were very close to the price lows anyway. Again, perspective is long-term. If you're a trader, completely different. All right, cool. Chris says, easy now. Could you check out the ski dog mask, please? Do you have a ticker for this bullshit? I'm just going to type in ski dog mask. I can't promise anything will come up. Nothing comes up, so we move on to the next one, sir. In the future, list a fucking ticker, sir. All right, let me actually get rid of this. Crypto REKT says, hello, Sir Crown. If you decide to make Brisbane and Gold Coast, man, it really does look beautiful there. Jason Pizzino has showed me his place in his area many times, and it actually really is heavenly. But of course, as an American, probably difficult to get long-term visas or residence permits there. Anyways, you promised not to ask any trading questions, except for this one. Zig on the weekly. Sure. Let's check this one out. I'm guessing this is a cryptocurrency. Zignally. Not bad, especially for something that's been around for a couple of years. It is already making new all-time highs. That is nice. That's always a good sign. Similar to Bitcoin here, although not as strong as Bitcoin, continuing on with the overall higher lows. So I'm always going to like that. However, if there is a washout, if you do see, if Bitcoin has a quick move back down below $100,000, this thing could very easily come back down to 13 or even 12 cents. But for now, I'd actually give this price action right here a chance to be putting in a low. Of course, it will not confirm a local low until you're back of about 15.5 cents. But above there, this thing is it's basically just trending towards new highs, I guess. But until then, a little bit of a short-term correction, I suspect. Long-term, monthly, good, it's fine. Probably has another push, maybe not this year, but likely early next year. Something like that, perhaps. Cool. All right. Oh, so good. So good. It's an unlikely combination, by the way, but it does taste quite good. Anyways, REKT Ops says, good morning. Do you think with diminishing returns for bull targets, it's also safe to assume there will be diminishing drawbacks during the next bear? Well, I mean, that's what we've been seeing anyways. So yeah, I mean, we can, again, just very quickly do this. Right here, we can do the measure tool. Boom, boom, 93% on this first major, cycle. Then the one after that, this one coming down from high to low, 86.5%. Okay, so already a little bit less than this one over here from 2017, coming down 84. So again, a little bit less there. Let me just double check. Okay, that was 84. This is 86. Yep, so a little bit less. And then this one over here, the most recent one, we do see 77.5%. So yeah, it is diminishing returns, I guess, or not as bad as time goes on. It makes sense logically as well. The asset's maturing, meaning that more people are getting involved. So you're just not going to see as big of moves, both the upside and the downside. And that will continue to lessen over time, I suspect. So maybe the next one is down like 70% or something. But you can see that it does move somewhat slowly. So I wouldn't expect like a humongous differential, but yeah, even a few percent does make a big difference in terms of price action when, you're talking about an asset that trades at $100,000, right? So fair enough. All right. Manticore says, hey, Crown, love your work, man. Awesome. Thank you. It's impossible to pick Bitcoin cycle tops, but what sign or indicator would you use to give it your best guess? What conditions if you had to use maybe two? Well, the most obvious and actually the most tried and true, but it's not going to get you the actual top, is going to be looking at the weekly trend. Anytime Bitcoin has reversed the weekly trend, that's been the direction for a very long time to come. So that would be actually the best way to do it, but you're not going to be precisely on the exact high. But if you want a very high probability that you're going to be fucking on the right direction, that would be it. If you're not doing that, then you are, of course, guessing, and that can go absolutely terribly because you have to ask yourself, like, how do I actually invalidate, what I'm looking at right here? But what I would be looking at for a guide is the same thing that we've been speaking about on this channel for a while now, the weekly BBWP, the weekly volatility indicator right here. If and when this does get to extreme levels, like 90 percentile plus, it's time to be looking for something resembling a major high, maybe a macro high, but very, very likely, or at least a major high. And we can see that all prior market cycles, have topped out within this region right here, a little bit above 90 at minimum. So as of right now, Bitcoin's actually not even, well, it is close to it, but it's not that close to it. It's at 83 percentile. So, this could still expand for, I suppose, like another couple of months, I suppose. And even then, once it gets into these crazy regions, the very, very high regions, it's not an immediate top signal, and you in some cases will see something similar to, trying to find a good example. Actually don't have a good example on the board, but you will see something actually similar to this right here, where it gets above 90 right around here, where my cursor is at right now, and doesn't really top out for another 4 weeks actually. So it is a good timing signal, but the price could very well be much higher actually when that does happen. But I'd be looking at that as like the first canary in the coal mine, and then weekly trend is the confirmation to me. Sigep, I think. Hola, Crown. Hola, mi amigo. Could you check well on daily? Cheers. See you in Boca Raton. And man, Boca Raton does look very, very cool. We're actually going to be going to Florida very soon here. I don't know if you're talking about this or maybe it's crypto. Okay, it's probably crypto within the given the context of this channel. Although I'd probably much rather look at a stock in this case, but not the worst chart in the world. In fact, actually for a shitcoin, quite good with higher lows the whole way through. We do see that weekly stochastic momentum is about to cross back on up freshly above 8.5 cents. It's trading a little bit above that as of right now. So if you do see the weekly close above there tomorrow, then have to be looking for this rally to continue. I mean, it is an uptrend after all, and in this case, obviously, it's already basically at the prior all-time highs, so very likely to make new all-time highs. Yeah, I think it probably has one more push here, honestly, maybe over the next couple months. I'd get very excited with it, with also a daily closure above 10 cents. That would be my confirmation for like, okay, this thing is ready to roll. It's ready to roll. All right. Am I on the right thing? Okay, yes, I am on the right thing. All right, great. Clee says, hello, Crown. Been following on YouTube since 2020. Fuck yeah, that's almost an OG at this point. Recently joined the quant program, which is amazing. Fuck yeah. I'm very glad to hear that. Actually, I should have alluded to this earlier. The setups that we were looking at over here were using the tool from the Quant Prime program, just because, because that's the easiest way to show it. Anyways, I'd like to hear your opinion on the point below. I'm running several automated strategies on the skeleton key. That is that is a tool that comes with the Quant Prime service that you can set up stuff like this. Just to explain to everyone, most of them using the bumper bands. Okay. However, sometimes it happens that I take over control. For example, my bot has opened a position which is about to close at a loss, but looking at a different time frame, I expect it to turn profitable. Then I pause the bot and follow it manually. This has worked so far, but I wonder if you have any advice about it. So in my experience, whenever I've tried to, I call this like trying to outsmart the bot. It works sometimes, but it ends up biting me in the ass in the long run, because a lot of the time, when you are using tools like this to trade, one of the things that is actually, in my opinion, bad about this is that you get the results. You get the strategy results pretty much instantaneously, and that that doesn't force you to actually have to go through each and every trade and see how they typically look. So when you get into the moment, when you're running a strategy, and then it's like, oh, well, I think it actually looks bullish, but I'm going short over here. Like, okay, I should actually do something else. Well, you don't know because you haven't actually gone through and seen what these trades typically look like. So that might be completely normal. But hey, you said it's been working out for you recently. So perhaps, perhaps your strategy, perhaps your strategy needs to be reworked, because you might have very good entries, but perhaps your profit taking is not ideal. It's hard to say without fully knowing what your strategy is, but that's kind of where I'd say to take a look. And I really would caution against trying to outsmart the bot. You will be right a few times. I know that I certainly was as well, but I was wrong way more, and it was actually a very humbling experience. Because it's like, oh, I'm totally sure that this position is going to be a loss. I should close it right now. And then it ends up being like a fucking tremendous winner. It's like, how many times has that happened to me? Too many, to the point where it's just so fucking embarrassing. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So we'll move on to Treebeard. Nice. Look, good Lord of the Rings references today. I like this. Myth Reindeer and Treebeard. Very, very good. Okay. Hello, sir. I'm just wondering, how did you manage to get broke while you had a professional trader as your father close to you? Well, it's not like he's trading for me. So that would be the main reason. Look, the purpose of having a mentor or a father figure or anyone like this, and I was very lucky, or I am very lucky to have, a professional trader as my own father, is that, look, they can give you their knowledge, but they can't do it for you. You're responsible for your own shit at the end of the day. And of course, or at least I can speak in my own case, in my early to mid 20s, or basically any age below 30, like, I know best, fuck everyone else. You have that bravado. We all kind of do as men, assuming that you do have, an actual ball sack. If you do not, then, well, you probably don't feel that way, which calls into question your manhood. But my point is that, he gave me a lot of great advice. He gave me a lot of phenomenal advice. Many people did. Many people who had much more experience than me did. But at the end of the day, without having to have earned the knowledge of that advice, I was incapable of integrating it, and I had to go through my own experiences, and that's just, it is what it is. Okay, we have ASCII Barash. ASCII Barash. Easy. Jump on the daily and weekly Binance New Cycle shitcoin. I've been following this one as well for a while. Daily and weekly. Okay, well, first let's start off high. Start high and finish low. Overall, still ranging on the weekly. obviously being closer to the top of the range is going to be better than not. But okay, let's make this exactly for the weekly because it's a very, very simple chart right here. Okay, boom and boom. Range for right now. And this one's difficult. I mean, every chance it gets to dump, it takes with flying colors, which is not a good sign overall. It does seem to me like there's probably stronger things to cycle. But anyways, looking at the 5-day right here, could I be looking at the last 5-day low as a pivot? That's what I'd be looking at if I'm going to be bullish, meaning that I can make an argument to remain to be bullish on this thing as long as you're above this low, which is 92.5 cents. Again, this is higher term time frame analysis here. Daily time frame. I mean, if anything, this thing looks like it wants to retest around low $1 here, maybe something like this. And then hopefully for the Bullish sakes, put in a higher low and do something like that. Very difficult to kind of know. But again, I guess I would be running with that assumption that it is doing something resembling a constructive consolidation range right here, as long as it's above that 9th of December low. The second that it closed below there, big fucking problem. The second that it really even closed below like a buck, I think big problems for this thing. But it's very difficult to be actually bearish on assets right now, given where we are at in the market cycle. So, I'm very, very hesitant to be like just blindly bearish on this. If I was just looking at this, I would say, yeah, down. But for now, I'd give it a chance still. And then, of course, the area to get very, very excited on this thing would be any sort of a closure above basically $1.50 at that point. This thing's going to make new all-time highs and probably significantly new all-time highs. All right. Babaloo. What's up, Crown? Which course should I enroll in to get a beginner's knowledge? I would suggest actually start, if like you're a real beginner, like a true beginner, go to my YouTube playlist and there will be a beginners 101 TA playlist. It's not going to be anything like, it's not going to take you from fucking zero to professional, but it's going to give you a good base knowledge so that you can actually work off of something. From there, if you decide that you really want, more, or you want to go a little bit deeper or a lot deeper, then I'd suggest as a learning program, the Trade Like a Quant program. I specifically made that program to kind of lean down on a lot of the information from prior programs, which just got too fucking monstrous, and to really focus on, what I think works best and putting it into, most importantly, a trading plan and showing you how you can do that. And also giving you examples with that. And, and I think that's going to be what a lot of people are looking for, who, want to take a little more seriously there. Anyways, check out Tesla on the daily/weekly. Let's see. Very good. We've been bullish on this one for a while. I remain to be bullish on it. Literally making new all-time highs. I think it's going to continue to trend to new all-time highs, sir. This is very, very good. Any sort of a closure at the end of this month above 420 is, this thing's going to see like probably 600, maybe more. It can get crazy, I guess. We are in that phase, I suppose. All right. Etja says, sir, you forgot my Beam daily chart last week. Are you lobotomized? Maybe you were too late within this. And you know what? That was very rude. So I'm just going to skip over you. Fuck you. ASCII Barrage says LDO USD on the daily weekly. Okay. LDO USD. Okay. And see what the daily looks like. Not my favorite chart of all time, just because it has not been acting well compared to most things, or I shouldn't say most things, but a lot of things that we have seen from, even today actually. But in this case, let's go to a monthly. It's a tough one to me, honestly. I am inclined to say that this one does trade higher here. Probably does try a move north of $3, but it's hard for me to call the reversal here just because of how fucking ugly this chart looks. But it does look to me like it is trying to put in a monthly higher low here, and it will actually confirm a legitimate reversal back above about 360. So while I do think it probably has some more short-term upside towards, 275 to $3, it's 360 where things really start to change around. But for right now, monthly momentum turning back up. So I do have to favor short-term upside. It's just if it can actually clear above this region, then you have an uptrend. Then this thing can run, I suppose. So yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got. New says, hello, Sir Krong. Can you look at FLM on the daily? It's a bad chart, but I'm curious if you think there's a chance it runs to 36 cents. Wait, what was it called again? FLM. Okay. It's a new one, I think. Flamingo derp. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Do I think it could run to No. No. Absolute garbage here. It still even has monthly lower lows. I mean, that is just never a fucking good sign, especially when everything else in their mother that has even a semblance of worth has put in at least a monthly higher low. This thing is not. Now, do I think it's going to trade up from here? Yeah. Do I think it could maybe trade up towards like 15 cents? Perhaps yes. But I wouldn't be even having fucking 36 cent as even in my mind, as long as it's below your April to 2024 highs. As long as it's below there, I mean, everything is just another lower high. And yeah, just to put it bluntly, I don't think that that's going to happen. Again, this is the real chart right here. 36 cents is right here or around there. I think it's quite unlikely, or at least there are other things perhaps that are much higher probability. Because, I mean, I need to say that because you'll probably hate me if this thing actually does pop back up there, which I'm guessing is break even for you. But I'm sure that there's things that are moving, much more in a positive direction than this thing, faster as well. All right, let's actually do this guy right here. Beam daily. All right, we'll do it just really quickly. All right, beam for this asshole. Where is my? Yes. Okay. All right. Absolute dog shit chart. It's literally the same chart as the last one almost. I mean, I think best case scenario, this thing maybe trades up towards like 38 cents, but fucking bad. Very bad. Short-term bullish. Short-term probably does trade up towards 10, maybe 12 cents from there. As long as you're below December 2023 highs. It's bearish as fuck, and we should not be expecting anything resembling a reversal because this thing has never had an actual monthly uptrend. It only goes down. The worst chart of the day, actually, because it's been around for the longest as well. All right. Automatic Attack says, please look at my favorite pet rocked CRO coin. Okay. I think this is like some sort of crypto credit card or debit card or some bullshit like that. Is it? I guess this is it, or maybe there's something else. Kronos doesn't sound right. I thought it was crypto.com. Anyways, okay, need to put on log scale here just because I can't even see. I guess you do have monthly higher lows. Again, this would be a cut above the last couple shitty charts that we looked at. This thing does look like it's probably going to push through here. Monthly momentum freshly turning up as long as this thing's above 11.5 cents. That is. Would like to see it officially close above about 20 cents, but from there, this thing can run, 35 to 45, maybe even 50 cents, Short-term consolidation sideways probably has another short-term downside move, but, as long as you're holding these range lows at 14 cents, I do think that this one does try higher overall on this current rally. Okay. AC says, hey, Crown, been around since 2020. Fuck yeah, dude. Amazon versus Coin Daily. What? Let me see. I actually don't. AMZN. Let's see. Yeah, it does work, actually. TradingView will calculate that. You can see that Amazon is fucking raping Coinbase. It's not a sentence that you hear very often. Stock is getting raped. Anyways, long-term downtrend, never going to like this. Is it getting ready for a short-term pop to the upside? Probably yes. So, Coinbase probably gained some versus Amazon, but I'm never gonna like lower lows and lower highs. So, sorry, actually, that means Coinbase is raping Amazon. I apologize. Yeah, Coinbase is raping Amazon. I got the relationship inversed here, but yeah. Anyways, says Ryer Pumpernickel, sir, I have severe food intolerances. Neither of those are on my diet. Bitcoin Buddy says, good day, sir. Thanks for answering these questions. I'll do my best, sir. Can we look at Doggy BTC? All right, Doggy BTC. Surprisingly not as bad as what you would expect. It does still have macro higher lows, which is a good sign. I guess the LARP lines here are more or less still playing out. I don't really have anything much to add to that. Just the thing is that, the place to be looking for an actual major breakout is significantly higher at 742 Satoshis. Short term, I do think that you're probably putting in a local high right here. You do already have hidden bearish divergence potential on the weekly stochastic oscillator here. So, I do think that this one does come down, but, it's probably gonna be a higher low, and then maybe it does get another shot up here, but, above 740 or 745, if you want to call it that. This thing probably retests high, probably makes new highs, but until then, nice range bound. I mean, it can hold these ranges for many years. This past one was from 2014 to 2020. Like, Jesus, six fucking years. 6 fucking years, ma'am. It's been 6 long years. Why don't you look at Ethereum CME? Sorry, one question. I probably shouldn't answer it, but the reason why I don't look at it, why I don't look at Ethereum on CME is just because there's not as much price action history. It's too new. Even Bitcoin CME is pretty new and not super useful on very high time frames. Crypto Guy 41 says, you referenced one major blow up in your account before you became a consistent trader. What happened to blow your account up? What happened? It was more so me being fucking bad at trading. What happened? I wouldn't blame it on an event. I'd blame it on myself, man. What happened was that I didn't have a well thought out plan that I actually followed. I didn't have a plan that I had back tested thoroughly. I didn't have a plan that had very objective signals for entry, exit, and risk management. And of course, over a long enough period of time, I freaked out a few times and made terrible decisions, and that's a really fucking easy way to blow a lot of money very, very fast. I mean, when I think about it in hindsight, I really went broke over the course of like 3 months. It was fast. It happened super fast. You don't even realize it too until like it's almost over. Or at least I didn't. But yeah, how to protect from that happening again? That's the more important portion of this question. That's exactly what I just said. Objective signals for entry, exit, and risk management. Backtest those signals in a strategy and figure out if that actually, works long term. And then obviously you have to execute that. So that's another reason why I prefer something like the Quant Prime over here, because it executes for you, so you don't have to think about it. You don't have to get in your own way. I know a lot of people can do what I just spoke about with strategy creation and testing, but when it comes to execution, very, very difficult. That's where bots help. Or a shit ton of psychedelics. Anyways, McCorkle says, hello, sir. Can you look at WAGME Games? WAGME Games on the weekly. Okay. WAGME Games. All right. It is on TradingView, surprisingly enough. And I guess not the worst thing of all time, pulling back after a retest of essentially the prior all-time high. Again, that's very, very common. I do like the uptrend right here. I do think it could come down a little bit lower in the short term, maybe like 1850 or something. That's still another higher low. I wouldn't really get concerned about this thing as long as you're above, essentially, let's just call it 18,000? Yeah, 18,000 or so. If you do come down below 18,000, then I would be looking for something like this, like maybe it bounces again, but comes down further. Until then, I'd be using 18,000 as a big pivot for potentially the next higher low. So somewhere in this region right here, and then another try to the upside. When I look at the monthly, a little bit questionable coming into the end of this month, or I guess we're not really quite there just yet, but looking questionable at present. If the bi-weekly closes like this, I would probably be looking for an overall pullback. I probably do think that it would fail that 18-cent region, come down to like 13 or I don't know, 12, something like that. Okay. All right. Tesla. We looked at Tesla earlier. US Nick LUS says, hey, Crown, very interested in the quantum wave bands. Will you likely update these strategies as the trends market change in the future? Yeah, I mean, there will very likely be things added in the future. I should let you know, however, that because we haven't really been super vocal about this, but the price that we have right now for the quantum wave bands is going to be the lowest that it ever is. Very likely in the not so distant future, we will raise that price from 70 to at least 80. And yeah, of course, over the future, in the future as well, there will be updates and whatnot. Droid says, hey, Crown, Talking about timing, past 2 cycles, there have been major Bitcoin correction, 244 and 242 days after the halving date. Today on the 8th of December is 233 days after the last halving. If this would play out, this time it would be Christmas. What are your thoughts about this? I don't care. Let me actually first confirm that. Okay, so let's actually go to my halving chart, because a lot of the time people will say this, but they're actually just, I'm not saying that you're doing this, but a lot of time what I notice is that people are parroting what someone else said, and it's not even true to begin with. All right, so here's your halving. You're saying, okay, this one was 133 days, and then, yeah, big correction. All right, interesting. Let's see how that holds up over here. Okay, this one over here, I guess this would be your first correction. That's 330. So it's already not correct. Maybe you're talking about this one right here. That's 182 days. So also not correct. This one over here is 245 days. Maybe this is what you're referencing. I don't see anything special about this particular correction right here. First off, from halving, I mean, it corrected already, and then it corrected a little bit, slightly before that. And you see several other greater corrections, along the way. So I'm not sure how much that actually matters. Again, this correction right here, 35%. This one right here, 33.5%. So that point to me already seems quite arbitrary, but let's go forwards. Okay, this one, we have a correction right here. That's 100 days in, so that's also not what you're referencing. This one was about 200 days in, but still very minimal correction. This one over here, 238 days, this is what you're referencing. And this actually was a decent correction, yes. Sure. So we have 2 of them that are kind of similar, I guess. I mean, I would argue that you've been seeing the correction right here. Like, that's what I would argue, honestly. From here to here, that's 238 days. So you're kind of right already there. I'd probably be arguing that, we're kind of seeing that correction right here already, but obviously I can be wrong about this. These are not things that I put too much weight on, to be honest. Anyways, Banksy Rules says, hello, Crown and Elsa. Originally from Detroit, past 25 years in San Francisco. I sympathize with you. Actually, I know exactly where Sonoma is as well. Consider northern Michigan, really, but not warm there, man. Not fucking warm in the winter. Longboat Key. This is Sarasota. Yeah, Sarasota comes up a lot. Seems really, 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 really cool, actually. Definitely a place that I want to check out. So great consideration there. Was a pre-sale investor in GTAI and have been hodling a large bag. If it put in a reversal in September, what will it take to make it back to all-time high? A lot of hopium. GTAI. Let's see. Guess we go here. Forget it. Here's a real chart. Let's put this into perspective. It needs a 450% plus move just to get back to the prior all-time high. I think very, very unlikely. This has been a bad actor for, a time in this market where even the somewhat strong things have been rallying quite a fair bit. This thing is, it's nowhere near even its May levels. It's just a sign of weakness. Now, I do think it'll trade up from here. I do think, maybe it could even pop up to like 2.5, maybe even $3 if things get really, really crazy. But I do think getting back to the prior all-time high, it wouldn't be my first target. I wouldn't even consider it as long as you're, this isn't even helpful, but as long as you're below this bull trap right here at $4.5 or so, or 440, it's just lower highs the whole way through, man. That's the problem. Yeah. Moali31 says, ride on the daily. Can it test $16 by end of January? Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. Right. Okay. Oops. Bad habits right there. All right. Can it test 16 by the end of January? Anything's possible. Is it probable though? Actually, it's not out of the realm of probabilities here, or possibilities. By end of January, back up to 16. Yeah, I guess it's possible for sure. We do see a nice uptrend right here, so that's fine. Weekly also reversing as well. Yeah, I don't know if the timing is going to be exactly correct, but I do think it will find its way somewhere around $16. Should I, I think it might even go higher than that, towards $20, above 20, or sorry, I should say like 21 bucks. That's when things get a lot more interesting for this thing, putting like a major move. But for here, I like I'm guessing this is a monthly higher low. Indeed it is. I think you have a shot at a real reversal here with momentum in your favor right now. So if it's ever gonna have a shot, this would be it. Okay. Wow, we're already 50 minutes into this shit. And we are not anywhere near the bottom of these questions. So we'll give another 10 minutes. All right. Biff the Bear says, desync on the daily. Also, why are wives' girlfriends always wrong? Because they're women. That's why. Desync. D-S-Y-N-C. Okay. And let's go over here. Not bad. I mean, it's very new, but at least it goes up from the history that we do have. That's a good sign. Short term, bit of a range going on right now. Could theoretically come all the way back down to, 37 cents or so. Still higher low. I do think that this thing has topped out and will trade sideways for a decent amount of time here. See the double extremes on the BBWP for the daily. So, I'd be very skeptical of any sort of, run back up here. I think that this thing spends some time going sideways. You're probably going to see volatility cool off for quite some time here. But, maybe it looks something like this. Maybe it tries a short-term rally, comes down, boom, 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 something like this. And then maybe January tries to move to the upside. Looking at weekly, I can go two ways on this one. No, the weekly has something very obvious right here. This week's low is a big pivot point for this thing. So you know what? I actually have to take back what I just said. I'm wrong about that lower range. The lower range is actually this week's low, or essentially the week's low. As long as it's closing above this week's low at 38.5 cents, it should consolidate with, between there and there. And, I still think it'd probably take some time, but, maybe it looks a little bit more like this, perhaps. If you see this thing break below 38 cents, okay, big reversal going on. Probably going to come, probably going to come to like 30. Somewhere around there. But first things first, give it a chance because this thing has been acting decently well. All right. Let's see. Babert Cast Tau says, give me Tau now on Mexi. Give me the weekly. Okay. Jesus Christ, man. All right. Go fuck yourself. Zero politeness and also very rude. How about no? All right. Lucky says, if you could get a look at Checks USD on a weekly, would be awesome. Sure. Checks. Okay. Let's see. Short-term toppy. Short-term coming off of extreme volatility right here, momentum turning down. I do think that this thing could come easily down to like 55 cents. Still would be a higher low to be fair, but short-term, I do think that this one's found a high actually. I could be wrong on that. I could be very wrong on that. You'll know that I'm wrong as long as it's above about 63.5 cents. Above there, still okay, I guess, and has the potential for more. But, when I go to the daily time frame, this very much looks to me like it wants to come down. I imagine it probably has bearish divergence somewhere on the daily RSI as well, but I want to double check that. That'd make this a lot more of an easy call. Yeah, it does. 1, 2, and 3 drives actually. So yeah, I think it's going to come back down to like 55 cents, maybe 50 cents. Look for a higher low there and hopefully a bounce. Let's see. Do you have any strategies using the indicators that are still associated with Chart Prime? No, although I do know that someone actually posted one in the quant library using the, what was it? The Oracle, I think it's called. But yeah, I basically replaced the Chart Prime indicators with Caretaker's indicators because he just made more statistically robust indicators, and also Caretaker. I've known him for a long time, so I have significant amount of trust in him as well. So that's what I like to build around. But the Chart Prime ones, I guess they work. But when you do look into some more of the details, Caretaker's work he takes a lot more care with very specific data. Shaq Attack says, can you do an update on your 5-day BTC strategy? Can you chart the superverse? There's nothing to really update on. It's still long. It entered at 62,800. It's still long. It will not close until we see a 5-day closure below, at this point, $96,500. The trade remains open. Can you chart Super? Super actually has been acting quite well as well. Let's see. Yeah, above $2 here. Not bad at all. If like all these fucking lines on this thing. Let's go to the monthly. I think the monthly is where it's at on this one. Yeah. Monthly momentum in the bullish control zone remains to the upside as long as this thing's above $1. Reapproaching the last major breakdown region. So yeah, you're going to get a pullback around this region, but this is a reversal, or I mean, it already is a reversal. You do have higher highs and higher lows on the monthly, but I think that it's going to be trend continuation here. As long as momentum's remaining to the upside, I think that this thing guns for like $3.5 long term, like in the next month. Wouldn't be surprised to see that within the next like 2 months, and then maybe it does something crazy after that. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? Don't bet against Elliott though. That's what I know. All right. Okay, we got 5 more minutes. KB says, "Hey Crown, would love to hear your top 3 coins you've invested in yourself with target take profits." Let me just hit the buy and sell button for you as well. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to promote altcoins in that way. I also don't want to play that game where like you give out fucking entry and exits. Like, if I'm wrong, then, the fucking masses come after me. And if I'm right, then no one really gives a fuck. Like there's no upside in it for me. And I think it's just generally a better idea not to talk about shit coins in that way, like endorsing them. I'm happy to chart them, whatever you want to look at, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm doing in that regard, because I don't want anyone to think that like I'm promoting shit coins. So yeah. Again, nothing personal, just I wouldn't do that. Anyways, Tibula says, "Hey Crown, my name is Pax. I've taken your crypto school course from a few months ago. Thanks for providing so much clarity to trading." Awesome, man. I've created my own 15-minute strategy derived from the course, manually and painfully backtested yeah, it is very painful, yes. Backtested so far with 100 trades within late 2023 to present year period. Okay, 77% win rate. Would such sample size data result be viable enough to actually use the strategy to trade the live market? Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking as I was reading that. I mean, it is a decent sample size since late 2023, so you have about a year. The answer is no, but it probably is useful during a bull market. Like, sorry, let me rephrase that. No, I do not think that is enough of a sample size to like just blindly run this for forever. But during this portion of the market cycle, yeah, I think that the strategy is probably a winner. If you could back test it during 2022, in a completely different market cycle, in a bear market, and you still had the same results, then I start to say, okay, yeah, this thing seems to have some real longevity. But preferably when I'm looking at lower term timeframes, so hourly and under, I want to see at least back to 2020 in terms of data. I understand that's a fucking big ask when you're doing it by hand, but yeah, it is what it is, man. So I'd say your strategy, it seems like a winner and probably will be as long as market stays bullish. After that, we don't know because we don't have data on it. When creating strategies, how do we prioritize or determine a clean condition for entry when entry when indicators don't line up perfectly most of the time? I find BBWP often lags behind stochastic RSI by a lot. You're actually comparing, they're not related at all, sir. BBWP is not going to agree with either of those two. These are momentum oscillators. This is a volatility indicator, completely different calculations. So of course they're not going to line up all the time. It really comes down to how do you want to systematize things. When you define it objectively, you can make very stringent rules, or you can make a little bit more loose rules. Loose meaning that the conditions for where BBWP needs to be versus, your RSI or stochastic or whatever the fuck you want to use in combination with it, that could be a little bit more lenient. It's still going to be objective, but let's say instead of like, BBWP needs to be below 10 percentile, maybe it's BBWP needs to be below 25 percentile, something like that. So actually, let me read this. How do we prioritize a determined clean condition for entry when your your conditions are outset well before you ever enter this trade to begin with. Like, let's be very, very clear about something. This needs to be done in the strategy creation process. So that's when you actually create the strategy as like a hypothesis to then go ahead and test. So what you should do is you should set up a testing strategy parameter for, something where, again, it's very difficult because you don't give like very specific examples here. But okay, actually you do right here. BBWP less than 40. Okay. Maybe you could test, what does it look like when it's 50% or 50 percentile for the BBWP? That's what I'm saying is like, give it a bigger berth. Instead of below 40, you could do 50. Again, when it comes to the crypto school course, you have to understand I was making that course for a very, 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 very beginner sort of community, which is fine, which is all good. But that means that I left out a shit ton of nuance to these sort of things and left it very, very open-ended. I was giving in this course just general guidelines. Yes, it's a working strategy. Yes, you can use it like that, but don't fucking hold on to those exact numbers as like the end all be all only numbers that exist. No, of course not. You can change 40 percentile to 50. You could even try 60. It might work. You won't know until you actually test it on whatever the hell you want to trade on the same time frame that you want to trade as well. So yeah, and you could even, as we went over in the course, you might only even include 2 of these. Maybe it's trend and BBWP, maybe it's trend and momentum, maybe it's BBWP and momentum. You can mix and match these things. It doesn't need to be exactly as it was in the course. Again, very, very beginner course, very, 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 very oversimplified in many ways. All right, we'll do one more and then we'll cut it off. Davey GTR says, hey, Crank, can you talk about the difference between the Jewel and Jewel Light? The Jewel is, the Jewel Light does not exist anymore. It is now the Crown VMP. The Jewel or the Crown VMP has more statistical based metrics on the indicator. The Jewel itself is a more robust in terms of like producing strong signals for momentum indicator. So it really depends on what you're looking for. But I think that the Jewel through meta signals right now is actually a really fucking good deal. And it gets you a whole bunch of other things as well with their service. So perhaps worth checking out. All right. That's what we'll end things for today. We got through most of them, but not everyone. I'm sorry, but that's just the way that needs to be. Need to shut it off before I lose my voice here. In fact, I'll do this last one right here just because this is a really good question. Tom BJ says, hey, Crown, what is your opinion on Elliott waves? They seem like bullshit to me. If you disagree, what would be your macro wave count on Bitcoin? So for me, Elliott waves, I don't care about. I don't follow at all. I also don't really know how to do them, or at least in any significant detail. Maybe it can be a good guide to kind of understanding things, because things do trend, and trends have to be 3 in minimum. So that part makes sense. But what when I somewhat studied Elliott waves, what really got to me was like, you're trying to predict too much, and you can't predict. You need probabilities, not predictions, because predictions, there's too many fucking ways that price can work. I mean, at the end of the day, price is a random walk. I mean, that's what geometric Brownian motion is, and that's what we believe is the best model for price action as of this time, or at least that's what market makers typically use. Some, they include some component of that. To me, I think it falls apart when you intensely look at it, but could it be a good sort of guide as to, where the general trajectory could be, understanding that is something that can change around very, very rapidly and very, very fast? Yeah, I think so. Because I do see some people use it to great effect, like Fibbo Swanee, although I would also argue that with Swanee's work, like the stuff that works the best for him is a system, which is, essentially what we do over here as well, except, different obviously, but just a system-based trader. The Elliott waves don't really come into that. So yeah, fair enough. All right, good place for me to be ending off. Another fun weekly Q&A session. Again, if you want to join on in the future, you can join for free in the link in the description below, and then find your way over here to the weekly Q&A section. Or if you want priority, you can go over here to the YouTube members community. And we'll end things on that note. a long one today, but a fun one as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.